Rise for flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing while Councilman Sarah says the prayer.
Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing all of us to come together this evening. Help us to have open minds so that we can objectively listen to the ideas and concerns that are shared at this meeting. And let us always act with the respect and integrity that our citizens deserve. Amen. I'd like people to remain standing for a moment of silence for Captain William Howarth. Bill spent 25 years as a Ventnor fireman and 48 years on the Ventnor City Beach Patrol. He was an outstanding father and husband, and he was loved by everyone he coached. And I can tell you from personal experience, Billy Howarth was an outstanding man who embraced life and really made a difference in every life that he touched. So he will truly be missed. Thank you.
Please be seated. The advertisement for this meeting, for the Open Public Meeting Act, has been advertised, I believe, in the Beachcomber and the Atlantic City Press. Is that correct, Lynn? I think Atlantic City. Just Beach. Okay, just the Beachcomber. It's a legal newspaper that we have in town. Before we start with our agenda, I just want to explain where the mayor is at. The mayor is away helping his daughter move for the 32nd time this year. So he's out in California, and if anybody thinks about breaking into his house, he has 2 dogs, and Jim Bennett, the chief, is house sitting for him. So we're moving on. We're going to pull the council meetings because some of the council people did not get them yet. We talked to Lynn Sweeney, and she said, fine, we'll do it next. She actually runs the meeting anyway, so on executive meeting minutes for 7/16 and 8/13, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments or deletions or additions?
It's just 8-3, not 13.
Did I say 13? I'm sorry, 8/3. See none? Can we have roll call, Lynn?
View,
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Withers.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we have payroll, operations, and expenses that we have to go. I need a second.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? See none? Can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Withers.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Abstain on numbers 1983 and 1922, and I'll touch on 1922 at the end of the meeting in council comments.
1983, 1922.
1983, 1922.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. At this time, we're going to open up to the public for agenda items only for their comments. Anybody from the public would like to come up, state their name at the microphone and address. Okay, seeing none now, I'm going to close that. And we're going to start into our agenda. Resolution 2016-164, work order change for streetscape project. Ed, can you explain what we're doing, the work order change for this project we haven't got started yet?
Yes, Councilman. This is a change order to the construction contract. It increases the contract by $22,320. It's a change to essentially the electrical components to the service for our street lights. There are 4 cabinets 4 service drops for our street lights. In our county review of the project, the county required that we change from what was the design and the bid plan, which was unistruts and separate electrical components on the unistrut. The county required that those components be installed in a cabinet. So this is the change to go into a stainless steel cabinet at the 4 service drop locations. It's a little over $5,000 per location for a total of $22,300.
Are we still under our threshold,
We are still under, yes.
under the grant and the money we secured
With,
for it?
with the grant and what we bonded, yes.
What's the benefit of the cabinets? Like, why is the county requiring it?
Well, from the county's perspective, since it's a county right-of-way, they felt that that was a more secure situation in their right-of-way.
Ed, do the cabinets sit on the ground?
They'll be elevated slightly, so there's a pedestal, and then the cabinets will sit on top of the pedestal. And if you remember, one of the benefits we had discussed with either owning the lights or leasing the lights from Atlantic Electric, the benefit of owning the lights would be that we would have this electric service that then is going to be equipped with outlets and a service size large enough so that if we were to do a function along that boulevard within this project area, we could pull electric for tents, for band concerts or anything that may come up in the future.
How many cabinets are we talking about?
4, 2 per side.
Ed, are we talking about a code issue or just a recommendation?
So it is not a code issue in terms of the electric code, but since it's in the county right-of-way, they took jurisdictional preference and said we want it in a cabinet, not on a unistrut assembly.
Okay, any other council questions or concerns? See none, can we have roll call?
Let's make a
Do
motion.
we have a motion
I
and
thought we had a
second?
motion. No? Let's make
I'll
a
second
motion to approve. I'm
I'll
sorry.
make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Let's have roll call there, Lynn.
View. Yes. McClay.
Yes.
Withers.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Guess this is for you, Roxanne. Next one. Resolution 2016-165, insert of a special item of revenue, 2016 Safe, Secure Communities Grant. Can you give us a
Yeah, this is a
update on that?
a reimbursement of salary and wages for a portion of a new police officer's salary. It's based upon, the allocation is based upon the number of officers that we have on our roster. And 30 grand is the grant. We
The
want to insert it.
$30,000 grant is going to help pay for the police officer.
Yeah, so we'll allocate a salary from, as much as we can, from one officer. There's it's a specific officer identified in the grant, so we'll do a reclass, because we're a little behind. This goes back retro to the beginning of the year.
Okay. Can I have a motion so we can open this up and a second to it?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Any council questions or concerns? Roxanne's here, the chief's here.
I just have one question. Just on the paperwork we have here, are we referring to Resolution 166?
165.
6-5.
It's a grant.
Right, okay.
Yeah, there's two.
There's
There's a
just
couple
no,
of them, yeah.
I was just trying to compare them up here. There was no number on there.
So what you have in front of you, Councilman, is the resolution that, it's called a Chapter 159, that allows us to insert a revenue into our budget after the budget has been adopted.
Okay.
That's why that's the only information you see.
Yeah, right. Is this a yearly grant?
Yeah, this is a yearly grant, and again, I guess it can fluctuate somewhere between 30 and 60,000, depending on.
That's correct.
Does the police department apply for the grant?
We do, yeah. Captain Rubino applied for it probably 4 or 5 years ago. I think was the first time we did it. And like Roxanne said, it could be as little as 30,000 based on manpower. We're at 34, so we're entitled to the minimum. Anything above 34, we get 60,000.
You ain't getting the 60,000.
I understand that, sir.
And just as a refresher, that Resolution 2016-32 was originally approved in February from council, approving the participation with this grant.
Anything else from the council? See none, can we have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McLean?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, we're going to head into Resolution 2016-166, a special item revenue, CDBG-DR. It's a Community Economic Development Plan. Is that you, Roxanne?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay.
It's another grant that was applied for with a series of grants related to post-Sandy planning.
Okay.
And this one was just awarded for $50,000 to develop a community economic development plan.
Okay, before we ask Roxanne or if anybody has questions, let's make a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any questions from council? So Roxanne or Ed, Fred? How you doing over there, bud? Okay, see none. Let's have roll call, please.
You? Yes. McLean?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2016-167, cancellation of tax sale certificate. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So
I'll make-
moved.
Second.
Do we have the right address on here now, Lynn? Or Ed, I'm sorry.
Councilman, the correct address is 4626 Harbor Beach Boulevard.
Okay, I know, I have the old paperwork, and I know we talked about, you know, I didn't know if Lynn changed it or not.
We transposed the numbers.
Okay. Any questions from council, please? Okay, see none, can we have roll call?
You? Yes. McLean?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2016-168, a real estate tax refund overpayment. I need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, any questions from council? See none, can we have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McLean?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2016-169, rental registration refund. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from council? See none, can we have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McLean?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2016-170, a four-wheel drive veteran refund, full price. Can I have a motion and second?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Question from council? See none? Can I have roll call, please?
You? Yes. McLean?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2016-171, four-wheel drive veteran refund, the senior rate. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
Make that motion.
Second.
Any question from council?
And we're voting on all three refunds together, right? Okay.
You? Yes. McLean? McClay?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
Lucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2016-172, triathlon registration refund. Need a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Questions from council? See none, can I have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
Lucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2016-173, a CER class registration refund. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions from council? See none, can we have roll call, please?
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
Lucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2016-174, Public Agent Compliance Officer. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Ed or, not you? Yeah. Oh,
Thank you,
okay, I
Deputy
know
Mayor.
what it is. Yep.
This comes from our QPA advising us that we need to identify a compliance officer. We're asking council to identify Molly O'Neill as our compliance officer. She will work with our QPA in ensuring that our contracts are in order.
Okay. Any questions from
Ed, is that-
council? Go
Sorry,
ahead.
is that a compensated position?
No, it'll be an added duty to her current position.
Thank you.
Any other questions? See none, let's have roll call, please.
View? Yes. McClay?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
Lucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay. Resolution 2016-175, authorization award to contract for maintenance and service on generators and heavy-duty equipment. And trying to award it to Johnson & Towers Incorporated. Ed, could you give it, wait, I need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ed, could you give us a little update on that, on the generator, or?
Yes, I will,
John?
thank you. The next two resolutions are basically the same. So these are two contracts that we have currently. One is for Johnson & Towers, this resolution. And the QPA brings this resolution before council because the contract is expected to exceed the $17,500, which is the state pay-to-play limit. We do not expect the contract to exceed the $40,000 bid threshold, but we do think that it may exceed the $17,500. So this is a resolution that acknowledges that it will be in that window between $17,500 and the bid threshold of $40,000.
I just have a question. The non-advertised method, the alternative non-advertised method, is that simply just because we're happy with them right now and we just don't want to reach out?
Yeah, it's under the bid threshold,
So, okay.
and we're very happy with it. If we next, this one and the next one.
Kind of anticipated my question, John. For this one and the next one, because you're happy with them, you didn't solicit other quotes or prices from other vendors?
When we did Johnson and Tower a couple years ago, we did solicit, we had another company, and Johnson and Tower did come in less than the other company did.
Mhm.
For the next one, we haven't solicited prices in a couple years.
Okay. How many vendors are in the, well, let's save it till the next item is up. One question, the language in the resolution, actually both resolutions, reflects that the vendors in question have submitted the business registration certificate and the disclosure certifying that they've not made contributions in the city of Brigantine, County of Atlantic. Have they, though, in fact, filed the form that identifies any contributions they've made statewide, which I think is the required form under Section 26?
I can check with the QPA Councilman, I don't know that answer right now.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions? See none? Can we have roll call then?
View,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Well, based on, I had the same questions that Councilman DeLucre had asked. I guess until we know for sure whether or not they have that paperwork filled out, I really don't want to, I'm going to abstain at this point until I know whether or not they have that paperwork filled out properly.
DeLucre,
I appreciate Councilman Withers' decision on that. I'm going to vote yes, though, because the certification is here that they made no contributions that would violate our local pay-to-play, and the other paperwork is simply a disclosure form, and it wouldn't bar them from getting the award of the contract. So, yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2016-176, awarding contract and supply of portable toilets from Caprione Portable Toilets Incorporated. Need a motion and a second, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Rick and John
Yeah,
there?
if I could just go back to the question. John, are there any other vendors in the portable toilet business locally besides Capriani?
I'm sure there are.
The price we're getting from Capriani, has that been consistent over the past several years? Or?
It hasn't gone up in quite a few years. It's been the same. The only difference that goes up is the frequency of cleaning, and that is another cost.
Right. I may regret asking, but what exactly do we get from our portable toilet suppliers? A certain number of toilets cleaned a certain number of times, and
The toilets on the beach are cleaned, on the ocean front are cleaned 3 days a week. They're cleaned, they're emptied, and they're restocked with toilet paper.
okay. And last question: in season, how many toilets do we have in town? I'm saying in season, the summer season. I assume we have a lot more than we do off season. Ballpark estimate? 20,
I'd
50?
say 23, because we have them at some of the ball fields. We just added 3 more because football started, so we could be up to 25 right now.
All right, thanks.
In a, I guess, typical year, what's a rough estimate on what we, I guess, pay for porta potties?
In 2015, we paid about $34,000 for the year.
34. And we're anticipated to be on pace for that again?
I expect, yeah, I don't think we've cut back.
Vince, it's all downhill. I'm telling you that right now.
I can tell. All right, thank you.
Okay, any more potty talk? See none? Let's have roll call.
View, yes. LeClay,
Yes.
Withers,
I just want to make a comment on the last 2 resolutions, and I do appreciate the fact that if the relationships are there and they've been there for 9 and 10 years respectively, I appreciate that. But I also know that, I do believe that reaching out for bids can't hurt in the future. You never know what you'll come up with. You never know what competition is out there. You never know who might come back and want our business just as bad and come up with a better price. I do vote yes, but I'd like us to consider that in the future.
DeLucre,
With a slight objection to the reference to potty talk, Phil, hurry back. Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, going to our consent agenda. This is the St. Thomas Calendar Raffle, license number 789, and the VFW Pool Tab Raffle License 787. Need
Make that motion.
Second.
Can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay.
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, the council manager discussion, we're going to pull.
I think we're going to hold off on that.
Going to hold off on the plastic bags to September's meeting as a request from Ms. McClay.
Deputy Mayor, may I
Sure,
add
I was
a
just
few
gonna-
other items?
Yes, I was just going to pass it over to you, Ed.
John, would you like to mention the trash and recycling cart rollout?
Yes. The new trash and recycling cart rollout will begin on the 22nd. I don't have the exact schedule on what part of the island they're going to be at right now. I'm meeting with the contractor on Friday, and we're going to iron it out, and we'll get it on the local 97 to give a schedule of when the carts will be rolled out, but we're all set.
How many days do you anticipate it taking?
7 to 10 days right now. They're trying to get another couple crews in, so I'm hoping no more than 10.
Okay.
And that'll be one trash cart and one recycling cart per household.
And you can buy them too for extra ones, correct? We
You
were
can
talking about.
use, the ones we're giving are going to be used primarily. You can use another second one at your cost or what you have, but it must have a lid.
Must have a lid,
It
okay.
must have a lid.
But it can be a standard trash can. It
It
doesn't
can be a
have to
standard trash can,
Right.
doesn't have to be the tipper.
Right.
but-
That goes with the recycling too, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. You have to have the lid too.
Yes, we want
Because
lids.
my dog's getting in the recycling, they're running all around with it.
And John, when people want to get rid of their old trash cans, you'll accept them down at the
Yes.
Public Works yard? Trash cans and recycled cans, or
Yes.
just the recycle?
Recycling and trash cans will be accepted at the Public Works Yard. The plastic ones are considered bulk, plastic, bulky plastic. I'm going to be putting a dumpster in my yard. If you have a metal one and you want to get rid of it, that goes into my metal dumpster, which we recycle both.
And one other item, just as a reminder, we have the Philadelphia Outrigger Canoe Club Hawaii Challenge. It's the outrigger canoe race along our ocean front. It'll be this Saturday, August 20th. They will launch from the cove. The start of the race is in the ocean out front of the jetty. They will head north to a buoy in our north end of the island, and then out back towards the inlet, but out deeper, and then in back to the original starting spot outside the jetty. And that'll be again Saturday, August 20th. And I think that's all I have.
Okay. Anything from the department heads that they want to discuss?
We have the environmental fair at Hahnemann Park along with the farmer's market this Saturday, starting at 8 o'clock.
Okay, great.
And also this weekend is the Historical Society Flea Market, both Saturday and Sunday at 26th Street Ball Field, 9 to 3, I believe, both days.
Okay, so this is council comments
No,
portion.
I was going to hold off.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because I had some comments, but I was going to wait.
Yeah, well,
I'll wait to the end.
I'm open to the public and then we'll get
I'll
into
wait to
council.
the end.
Okay,
Thanks.
I was just going to reprimand her.
Thank you. Thank you.
Out of order. My water is in there. Okay, I want to open it up to the public to come up and speak whatever they have in mind. We have a 5-minute limit. Come up with your name and your address. Yes, ma'am, come on up.
Question about the trash cans?
You can just come up and put name and address for the record, then you can ask any question you want.
Okay. My name is Claudia Benta, and my address, Menta, M-E-N-T-A, and my address is 260 36th Street South. And I have a question about
Sure.
the trash cans.
Sure.
What about duplexes? Will they, or multifamily units, will they get, like, the number of households?
I
that
think
are-
they get 2 per floor. Is that correct?
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
So you, at the one dwelling would have 4.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 recycling, 2 trash.
And then I have, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to present a concern that I have, and that my concern is the issue of feeding and harboring of feral cats on the island. I happen to live at Ground Zero. My next door neighbor is
Yeah, plenty.
weird. Can you hear me now? I'm sorry. So my next door neighbor feeds and harbors feral cats, and it's been going on for several years now. And I did make an attempt to do something about it a couple of years ago, but I had no direction, I had no guidance, so I didn't really know where to go and what to do with it. But I got some guidance this time, and I'm working on the issue through the proper channels, I think, and that is to, I'm so nervous.
That's okay, don't be nervous.
To make a...
I'm so nervous I pulled my hair out.
to make a formal complaint through the court system, and so I'm taking that route. It's my last option. But it's a horrendous thing to have to live with, and I haven't gotten much support thus far, but I'm working on it. That's why I'm here, really. Basically, I think I should be involved.
John, we did talk earlier, and she did have the rental people go down and take care, and one of the persons from the fire department did go down there. And John Doring's the head of the Public Works.
Yeah, I know. I've sent you emails in the past. And you sent me Scott McKay, and he was wonderful. He really reduced the population, but it's starting to perk up again, and I'm having some issues.
Also handling another issue with feral cats on Portage Street.
Yeah.
I'll give you my card, give me a call, and I will help you with whatever I can do.
Sure, thank you, I appreciate it. And then I have one more concern about the animal control service that we get from Atlantic County. I made a report to the police about these cats and what they're doing to my property, and they got animal control involved. They sent a trap to my home on Monday. Overnight, they trapped a possum. Well, they put it on my deck next to my shower, and overnight they trapped a huge possum, like the size of a dog. And so in the morning, I called them and told them they have a possum. Please, pick up the possum. I didn't get a response. I called at 7:30. I called at 8 o'clock. I called at 9:53. Finally, at 10:54, I got a phone call, and I told her the issue, and she said, well, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of was firm with her, and I said, you have to get this animal off my deck. It defecated all over and urinated all over my deck. When the lady came and picked up the possum, she put the possum in a clean cage, left the dirty cage. I asked her to please put it somewhere else because that was like right near my front door. So she finally did move it to another location, but she left all the feces and everything there, which I didn't expect her to clean it up. But the cage that she left still had like a pancake of poop in it, and it's in my yard right now. And no cat is going to go into that trap, because it'll smell possum and it's not going to go in there, so we won't be able to trap anything. So I called them today. I got, somebody said they would talk to the boss there and they'll send a clean trap. She never came, so when I left for this meeting, that filthy trap was still in my yard, and they're not going to catch any cats with that trap. I really don't think they're going to catch any cats at all, because the cats know us. They know that we don't want them there, so whenever they see us, they run. My next door neighbor feeds them, so they're not going to be hungry, so they're not going to want to go in the trap to get food, and the only thing they do on my property is throw up hairballs, leave fleas, poop, and pee, and have kittens. By the way, I get 3 litters of kittens on my property every season, and that's a real pain, too. So I don't know why I'm talking directly to you. I think it's because I'm really nervous. But anyway, so... Yes.
He's the cat guy, the porta potty
They're
guy.
awful. They don't respond. They're kind of rude when you talk to them. No, I haven't done that yet. Sure. Okay, so I just really think, I don't want any kind of damages or anything. I just think the code should be enforced as it's written, and it's not enforced. It hasn't been enforced for years. The place is filthy, and it's just a mess.
We do handle it upon complaints.
Okay.
So I will talk to you.
Okay, and that's, Public Works is right down my street, so
Yes.
I can be there all the time.
John, why don't you take a minute and take her number now, so she can, if she doesn't want to sit here and listen to porta potties and.
Thank you so much.
You will-
Hopefully
thank
get
you.
Thank you for
this
coming in.
Worked out pretty soon.
Here's a minute while they get the phone number. Thank you. Anybody else from the public, please? Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street, speaking on behalf of the Brigantine Taxpayers Association on two topics. Number one, please make financial information about the operation of the golf course available at the next City Council meeting. Taxpayers have a right to be brought up to date on this important issue and receive the figures for 2015 and 2016. I think these have been promised for some time, and we're coming to the end of the year, and we really don't know the condition, financial condition of this city function. Number two, this topic concerns council's appointment at its last meeting of Duran Engineering to be the consulting engineer for the city. We believe this appointment by the Republicans on council is not in the best interest of Brigantine taxpayers and cannot be justified by the facts. This is a matter of the law, policy, accountability, and propriety. Defending this appointment as an issue of quote-unquote fairness, attributing its opposition to personal animosity, and claiming ignorance of the evident facts mean those supporting council members are not fulfilling their responsibilities to all of the taxpayers. New Jersey State Law, Title 40A, Chapter 9, clearly states, quote, no municipal engineer shall be compensated by receiving a percentage of a contract for which he rendered services, unquote. Mr. Duran, during his previous term as municipal engineer, signed invoices clearly using percentages to justify his bill. This fact was made known to Mayor Gunther, who ignored it. By having such a law, taxpayers are protected from excessive, undocumented charges. And so they are, except in municipalities where political favoritism is more important than the rule of law. Now, here in Brigantine, such documented violations of this law are being rewarded by another contract to the same company. Does reputation count? And who is responsible here? Accountable here? An Atlantic County organization was performing, ably and lawfully, functions cited in this contract. Why change? While the thinking behind the saying, quote, to the winners belong the spoils, unquote, still prevails, its implementation here is blatant and unwarranted. And the argument that because he's local, Mr. Duran has greater knowledge than an outside qualified engineer who would find Brigantine's infrastructure too difficult and strange to comprehend is laughable. Evidently, these supporting council members think taxpayers' credulity has no limits. We thank those who have brought this matter to the public's attention and educated about what actually takes place. Taxpayers need to know. Too often, the law gets lost in the operation of government. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. We have a financial statement, Mrs. Phillips, that all council has a P&L for the golf course for this year, up to June 30th. So if you want to stop in Roxanne's office or Ed's office, I'm sure we can give them a copy of it. And we... No, no. Unless someone wants to bring it up and discuss it, I'll discuss it. But it's not a full year financial statement. So, you just don't talk about things that's halfway through the year. And if we do want to talk about it, and that's fine too, we can talk about that. And maybe we'll talk about it tonight. I'm not sure. We still have council discussions. Well, that was in the budget, right? That was in the budget, right? Yeah. It was in the audit for last year's 2015 was in there.
While the audit is available at cost to anyone who wants to purchase it, it is not generally known by the public, and what that information is there, but it's not something that's circulated widely. So I think that something as important as the golf course, yes, does deserve attention at a public meeting by council with participation by the public. We need to know, because in the past, recent years, we have been subsidizing the golf course each year with a certain amount of our property tax money. And we need to know where we stand. We have all the changes that have taken place at the golf course. All of this should be made public. So yes, I certainly respectfully request that council do discuss this at a public meeting. I should not have to. I can, obviously, but it's not just me as an individual or representing a group. This should be public information, public discussion. And anything that's available.
Well, we do have public information.
Pardon me?
I just
No, I'm not
told you you
denying
can go
that.
there.
I'm simply saying that.
And we went through the audit, we had a presentation and everything else, and it showed where the golf course stood last year. And we have a 6-month snapshot, if you may.
Well, I think we should
of
have,
this year.
if you discuss 2015, I think perhaps most of us are not aware of that figure. And I think there's been some, the years are passing, the months are passing, and we need to know. And we need to compare what happened last year with what we have so far this year and look at it in terms of 2014, 2013, and so on. It just needs a full airing. So I certainly would like to request that as a taxpayer. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? John?
John Pucci, 100 Sheridan Square. Good evening, Deputy Mayor and City Council.
Good evening.
I would just like to ask the question as far as the methods and the criteria that the contracts are paid. Since Mr. Stenson has been our city manager, and specifically from this day forward, for last meetings forward, a generic question, and I want to bring in all contracts, that just a confirmation that no contracts will be paid on a percentage basis, no matter who the vendor is. Just a confirmation.
Well, John, I'm going to stop
on
you
that,
right
and
there.
that this isn't being done now.
I don't know if it was done on a percentage basis back then. I don't know that. I just know what today is.
Yeah.
And Mr. Stinson and Roxanne could tell you exactly how we run our operation today. I don't know what was done in years ago.
Yeah.
And if there was something hanky-panky, and I'm sure that anybody that was on this council at that time could have taken it to if the mayor didn't do anything, they could have took it to the prosecutor. So whatever they, at that particular time, they could have done that. If they thought something was hanky-panky.
The contract that was awarded last council meeting was on
It's
an
definitely
hourly.
not, it's hourly rate, it's not a percentage
hourly
base.
Period, with a not to exceed
To
total,
exceed it,
but an hourly.
15 hours a week at $70 and change per hour.
Deputy Mayor, my question is, it's not being done now. That's my
Correct.
question. Thank you. That's the confirmation
I don't know if it
wanted to
wasn't
have.
done then either. I don't know that.
I
wasn't
don't
here.
either, and I'm not
I wasn't there.
talking, I just want to confirm it is not being done now. That's the confirmation I was asking for.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Every city
Thank you.
manager has their different ways. Every CFO has their different ways of doing things.
Thank you, City Manager. I'd like to ask a question about the police contract that I had mentioned at a prior meeting this year. Not the numbers, not the benefits, not the give-backs or not give-backs, but specifically the time frame. Now that the sun is over the yard arm and we're in the second half of the year, are we posed as far as having time and meeting schedules that there's a good possibility that our police contract can be settled, which expires December 31st of this year? Can that be settled on time? And the reason why this resident is asking that if those possibilities are there, I just think it'd be a wonderful thing. I think it'd be a wonderful thing that some city in New Jersey settles a contract, a union contract on time, so those employees can have a clear 3 years from now on to be able to plan on and to know what their financial abilities would be. So my question is, are we on track?
John, I would
Is my
love to
question.
say January 1st, that I would ask Ed Stinson to come in here before he goes to the Pole Bear Plunge, and the representative from the police union go in there and hammer the thing out. I don't know what the time frame would be, and I'm sure hopefully in 2017, we would have a contract with the police department. Ed, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but, you know.
Are we on track?
The PBA president and I have spoken, and we are working actually to set up the first meeting in the negotiation process. So I think, yes, we are on track. The plan was September, have that meeting, and that's what we're setting up.
So
Sounds good.
We're 5 months ahead of time, working on it.
I cannot emphasize enough and thank all the volunteers down at the farmers market. I go down there every week on a Saturday morning and pick up my Kirby cucumbers and pickle slices, and they're in there in the heat volunteering to make that happen. And the mayor went ahead and appointed me to one of the city's committees, Clean Communities. So now this weekend I got to be down there not only getting my cucumbers but actually work with the other volunteers this Saturday morning, no matter what the weather is. So I encourage all residents to help that function, that program out as much as they can. And again, thank you for all that have made that a success that what it is. I'm glad to do my little part, but they're every week. And I wanted to re-emphasize that. It can't be emphasized enough. And lastly, Council, how are we doing with our flag, our new flagpole down at the bridge? And the reason why I ask that is I understand there's a consensus that in fact we are going to get a new one, maybe a little bit bigger one, a little bit more majestic, and specifically as a veteran, every time that flag is lowered to half-staff, it hits that back wall, gets hung up on it, and also the POW flag cannot be seen when that flag is at half-staff. Now, since the current president has been in office, he's ordered the flags to be half-staff approximately 68 times. That's a lot. So this isn't something that just has quickly occurred. This it has been a reoccurring event. And I've talked to members of the Guarding Club about the city getting the new flag down there, and they have offered their services as far as redoing that area there that they maintain. Any of the flowers, the bushes, the Guarding Club is offering their services. And I've also talked to the veterans organizations in town, and they would also assist in any of the labors that need to be done to redo that. And also, the veterans of Brigantine would like to ceremoniously provide the first American flag and POW flag for that new flagpole to thank the city and council for all they've done for the veterans. So how we doing with?
Well, let me ask, do we have a budget to buy a flagpole? Do we have money in the budget this year? I want to tell you the truth. I want
Yes,
to be,
and we are working on it. John's working on with the electric company in terms of what is the allowable height of a new flag.
okay.
So I don't know if how far we've gotten, John. Do you want to speak?
I met with Atlantic Electric on the restrictions on how close we can be to the high tension lines, because that's where all of our electric comes in for Brigantine. And I've called the flag company to get a couple prices for flagpoles. I've called the contractor we have for electrical for lighting of the new flagpole. So I'm still waiting for some prices.
Just the idea, since we're getting a new flagpole, do we want to move it into the media strip where our sign always blew away every storm? I don't know if the county would allow that or not. Okay. Just the idea. And when we put it up, recommendation not behind that sign, just in case we do have to have it at half-mast, if we can slide it onto the side of it or in front of it.
We have an issue with restrictions in that area. One of the suggestions was to put it back where it was, where the one is now, but a taller flagpole, so that when we do have it at half-staff, as you come over the bridge, they like the look of it behind the sign, but when it's down at half-staff, it will not interfere with the sign.
Just make sure when we do, whoever does the half-staff, whoever the employee is,
Correct.
just don't have the POW
Correct.
sign behind the
one that
the one
is
sign.
there now is an issue.
Right, because it's a smaller flagpole.
And we're going to recycle that flagpole that's there, we're going to put it in Public Works.
Good. It's a great idea. You got.
Seems like everything's set. And again, I wanted to let council know that the Garden Club and also the veterans are willing to assist that project. Is there a kind of buy or time frame, or few months?
Well, when you
few
deal with the electric company,
Move
we're at their
along.
mercy. I don't think the flag company's that big of a deal, because I just put a flag up.
I'm looking more in the fall. because
Okay.
we're
The
a little
fall.
bit busy right now.
Yeah,
and
that's fine.
I'm still waiting for the quotes to come in. And I
Hopefully before the first of the year. That's,
will
yeah.
talk to you to see if we need volunteers, I'll let you know.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, John. Anybody else from the public? Another John. Got his phone out.
John Livesey, 203 9th Street North. I'm here for the Brigantine Municipal Alliance. I just want to put out there that the Partnership for Drug-Free New Jersey has announced a hooked on fishing kind of tournament that's going to run between August 19th to August 28th. I do believe Channel 97 will have a slide up so people can get the information off of that. It's very similar to our hooked on fishing program that's here. It's encouraged that persons to participate must be 18 years or younger to enter, and all fishing activity, basically, I'm paraphrasing here, the children must be accompanied by a parent, grandparent, or guardian while they're fishing. And like I said, the information's online to register, and there's over $600 in cash prizes to promote this event. And again, the dates are from August 19th through August 28th. And one more announcement is I learned that October 15th will be another free fishing day in the state of New Jersey, where the fishing license will be waived if people want to go fish at their favorite lake. We have a pretty big one out here. But I just wanted to pass that on. There'll be more information following. I think there's going to be a couple of events out at Lake Lenape again on that date. That's October 15th. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, John. Anybody else? Okay, see none. Open it up to council comments.
I would just like to let everybody know that this Saturday at the Farmers Market is also our Green Fest. It's our 3rd annual Green Fest. We do this in conjunction with Clean Communities. There'll be an additional 15 exhibitors and vendors in Hahnemann Park. It's a great day. It's 8:30 to noon. Come on out. There's a lot of giveaways. We have contests, cooking demonstrations. So it's a big day for us at the Farmers Market. And John, I'm sorry, Mr. Pucci mentioned about the volunteers at the market. And the Green Team is made up of 29 volunteers. We have over 70 volunteers in our pool that come out and volunteer at the farmers market. And it is hard. It is hard getting up there early every morning and breaking down and putting everything away. So thank you for acknowledging them. And I too would like to thank everyone involved with the farmers market and the Green Team and all the additional volunteers. Actually, they're going to be honored this next Saturday, the 27th, at a luncheon. So yeah, they do a fantastic job for the city.
Great, thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
John, you have anything? Good. Good. Rick?
Well, sure.
Okay. I'm sure you're not lost for words.
Let me start by following up on comments from a couple of members of the public. Mrs. Phillips, we did receive information about the golf course finances for the first 6 months of this year. I have been exchanging emails with the manager and the CFO on some questions. I anticipate those questions will be answered, whether to my liking or not, who knows, but they'll be answered by our next meeting, and I certainly will be discussing the golf course situation at that point. But you should take advantage of the offer to get a copy of that report and see it for yourself. One of the things that Mr. Pucci mentioned about the farmers market, could not agree with him more. And it made me think it might be, I think it would be appropriate for council to consider, perhaps at our next meeting, which will happen just about at the end, if not after the end of the farmers market year, to do a proclamation honoring the farmers market volunteers. And if I could get a sort of a sense if there's anybody that's really hostile to that idea.
Oh, good.
It's a great idea.
So maybe that's something we could put into the works for the September 7th meeting. The other thing, or another thing that Mr. Pucci mentioned, just so it's clear or clearer, I brought up the issue with the past billings by the Doran firm when they were our municipal engineer, not because the current contract has that same structure for billing. It doesn't. It's an hourly billing. But because those billings, those percentage billings, which are improper, did happen. It's cut and dried. It was a clear violation, and I documented it then, and I'm happy to document it for anybody who wants to know now, of the prohibition against municipal engineers billing on a percentage basis. It doesn't really make a difference that nobody referred anything to the prosecutor or that there was no follow-up. That doesn't determine what's right and what's wrong. Our job on council is to make sure that the law is followed. And back in 2009, when this happened, I know because I looked at the records, there was not any backup information. There was a single sheet of paper at each of 10 consecutive meetings which stated a bill for, I forget the exact number, about $38,000 each meeting. And it simply said a percentage of the contract. So it's not an issue where one CFO or one manager might have a different approach. There's no discretion involved. There's no ambiguity. It was very straightforward. That's why I brought it up, and that's why I voted against it. The final thing is a subject that I've been discussing internally probably for the better part of 3 years. So it certainly predates our current professional staff, but it's an issue that I have discussed with our professional staff as recently as yesterday in an email. And that's the issue that, to refer back, in tonight's bill list, we had a payment for a local organization, sports organization, which we have been making these payments annually to various sports organizations and others, not just sports, but various, I call them civic organizations and associations. Not arms of the city government, not officially part of the city, private groups, but those who perform different functions in the town. And forever, you know, so as long as I've been aware of it, we make payments of different amounts each year to these groups. If that was all there was to it, you know, I have no issue with worthy groups getting contributions to carry out their work for the city. But the issue that I brought up initially, a couple of years ago, and then Ed and I started talking about it not long after he became the manager, and Fred's even been dragged into it a little bit. I had a question, I still have a question, whether we can make donations at all of that type. In our state constitution, in Article 8, Section 3, Paragraph 3, which is entitled Donations of Land and Appropriations of Money to Private Agencies. That section consists of a single sentence which reads, "No donation of land or appropriation of money shall be made by the state or any county or municipal corporation to or for the use of any society, association, or corporation, whatever." Period. My question, as a threshold matter, given that language, how do we make contributions? Not, you know, it's not a question again. Is it a good thing? It's certainly not a question, and I would hope that we're at the point where our conversation as council people would not devolve in the direction of, why are you against this civic group or that civic group? It has nothing to do with that, but has everything to do with what we can and can't do as a starting point legally as council people. I posed the question, I've tried to find the answer, I've researched it, and I have not found an answer that gets me to the point of being able to say, whether it's in the form we now do it or some other hybrid that we might come up with, nothing which allows me to conclude that we even have that authority. So that's a threshold issue. We had the payment tonight. I abstained on it because, you know, I can't vote for it knowing this or knowing that this is an open question in my own mind, but I'm not going to vote against it because I understand that, you know, the organization probably has made its financial plans contingent in part on receiving the money that they historically have received. So if we can get past that question, and, you know, I invite, and I'm not going to put anybody on the spot tonight to give me an answer unless you have the answer, but we got to answer that, and we've got to just once and for all resolve, can we even do that? Because we're heading into a new budget cycle, and, you know, all things being equal, I'm sure we would follow the same procedure next year. So we have to resolve that. And then if we resolve it and we conclude that we can do that, then I think we really need to look at the nuts and bolts of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Again, has nothing to do with any of the organizations or the people in the organizations. It has to do with a very simple principle that things can go wrong. Because every single time, I think if you look at the papers and you hear stories, you know, and they pop up occasionally, you know, maybe it's a volunteer fire department, or maybe it's an athletic league, or maybe it's some other group, and somebody's in trouble because they pocketed some money, or they didn't properly spend the money, or whatever other misdeed may have happened. Those things always happen. I shouldn't say they always happen. When those things happen, invariably, people say, wow, that's a shock, such a nice guy. And that's whatever the reasons may be. You know, people have problems in their life. They're not evil necessarily, but these things do happen. So if you have a system, if you can have a system where you're making donations, it has to be, in my view, certainly legally, you got to get past this constitutional language, but also legally, you have to do, because we have to do all things even-handedly. We can't have a system which allows for discretion or, let's say, arbitrary decision-making. We can't have a system where, you know, we decide without having any kind of concrete standards who we're going to give money to and how much, because the way we've done it in the past, and it's, I'm sure, regarded as a case of, well, it works fine, why do you want to change it? For the reasons I stated, we've got to make sure that legally we can do that, but beyond that, let's take the extra step, even though it's not a, you know, something we want to do necessarily. You know, we like the fact that we have the system we have, but understand that there are inherent weaknesses in that, which are that things can go wrong. We don't presently, as far as I know, have any standards that govern how we allocate the money to whom or in what amounts. And as far as I know, we're not requiring the recipients of the money to provide us with any meaningful level of financial information or audited or comparable to audited financial information, so that we know that these people and these organizations are in fact safe places to donate taxpayer money, because we don't need to worry, or because we've had proven to us that they are handling their money properly. But that, again, that's a step down the line. The first step is, can we do it? And again, I'm looking at Fred, but I'm not putting Fred in the spot with that. It's something we have to resolve. And it's been kicking around way too long. The answer might be simple, but if it is, I haven't found it, and I know Fred looked in the past, at least initially, and
This is not a short answer, and it's not an answer we're going to resolve tonight. And it's probably not an answer that's going to be satisfactory to anybody when we do get to the answer. Just historically, my involvement with this issue in Brigantine goes to 2013, the first year I was here. And a meeting was convened with representatives of a number of the organizations. And as I recall it, and again, I haven't touched this thing in 3 years, as I recall it, the discussion basically said that the municipality would go forward on a reimbursement basis, to be distinguished from simply writing a check for an amount without examining the underpinnings of what the funds were for. It was also discussed at that meeting that the organizations needed to be actually properly formed. They had to be 5013Cs if, as a matter of fact, they were going to be on the receiving end of these contributions. As I recall, it was also pointed out that they needed to have proper financial documentation and audits. And to my knowledge, that is where this was left in 2013. Now, the councilman's raising a different question, because what the 2013 meeting was really about process and procedure more so than about an underlying issue as to whether a municipality can do it. This is not a Brigantine issue. It is an issue that is dealt with statewide. Most municipalities struggle with this issue, and many municipalities end up moving forward in the manner in which I have just described that arose in our 2013 meeting. In terms of going forward, I would make a suggestion, number one, that these organizations be brought in sometime once you clear Labor Day to look at where they've been in 2016, to see if, in terms of what was even discussed in 2013, if all those criteria are being met, and where they're going in 2017. If you really want to deal with the bigger issue, this is an issue that may need to be discussed with your legislators. Because as Councilman DeLucre points out, the Constitution says what it says, and the activities, not simply of Brigantine, but of municipalities across the state, raise these questions. And it is activity that, in all likelihood, does benefit the municipalities and certain sections of the population within the municipality. One of the issues that has been raised and has been offered as a solution in some communities is to basically have the municipality enter into a services agreement with the nonprofit. The theory being the municipality in and of itself does not fully fund a particular activity. The nonprofit runs that activity on a volunteer basis within the community. The funds that flow then from that municipality, if you take this approach, the funds that flow from that municipality to that organization are then provided as part of a service agreement, because that organization is providing that service to the residents of the municipality when the municipality formally is not doing it. So the municipality is almost purchasing the service from the organization. I know that's been done in some communities. As I recall, in casual discussions with some state-level folks, that has been discussed as a possible solution. going back to where I started, that this is not a short answer, and it's not an answer that everybody's going to be satisfied with, and I don't know if we can get to a really good answer, putting the word good in quotes, but this is the status of this thing. So you may want to do the review as I have suggested. You may also want to talk to your auditor, because this is not a purely legal issue as a lawyer stands up and begins giving legal opinions. Your auditor tells you how you can manage your budget, what payments you can make, and what payments you cannot make within the parameter of their auditing standards and maintaining the integrity of the municipality. So it is really a blended conversation between legal and auditing, and there's no getting around that. I don't know if I'm being helpful right now or not.
No, I don't think so.
I'm sorry?
I don't think so. Seriously,
I'm trying to give you the best information as to where this is.
I'd like to know what, Ed, do you know any of these organizations? We keep on calling them organizations. Are we talking about the Lions Club? Or are we talking about the Chamber of Commerce? What? Give me a couple of names if you wrote.
Mainly the sports organizations, so the Rams, Little League, soccer, hockey.
That we give money to them every year.
Well, we reimburse them costs, typically
Up to a certain point.
Correct, up to a certain dollar amount, typically for their insurance, mainly for their insurance.
Okay, so
I will share, Councilman, that Jim Mogan from our CER department and I are planning to meet with all the organizations this fall and do, as Fred has just outlined, we will be meeting with them. We will be looking at their budget. This is the time. See, this year, those organizations have built their budget anticipating that reimbursement from us, as we have done for so many years. So to pull it this year would put them in a bad spot. So we meet with them in the fall as they're building their budget for next year, as we are building our budget for next year.
So
and we have an opportunity to look at their finances in terms of what they've expended in 2016. So we can get to that point. It doesn't address the, as Councilman DeLuca stated, the threshold question, but it certainly, in terms of that processing, it gets us to look and be involved with the organizations in terms of the budgeting.
So we have to find out if it's legal. Then we have to talk to Leon at Fort Scott with Roxanne and build it into our next year budget. We're going to continue whoever is on that list, is it the Brigantine Rams, Brigantine Little League, soccer, whatever it is, as we've been doing for, I don't know, probably forever. But and Fred, you're going to come back with some kind of recommendation. Either this is how we have to do it, and this is how we should do it.
We can take it a little further.
Yes. Okay.
But I can tell you now, too, from my conversations with people involved with the Rams, I know they're doing a lot of recruiting right now, and they're getting a lot of young players on the team, and they're really working hard to raise money because they need to buy equipment for those younger players.
Mhm.
So if we pulled the city money this year, it would really put them behind and hurt them.
And you know, I don't want to put somebody out that might not want people to know, but thank God that we have people like the Parkers that donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to our sports organizations to make it one of the elites in Atlantic County. So
I think, too, as we move forward,
I see if Rick, you have anything else? No, I want to go in order here. Go ahead, Vince.
I'd like to say something.
Oh.
Fred, by the way, I disagree with Andy. That was very informative. Thank you.
Okay. Good. Well, put me
I know this might be for later, but I'm not
There's no
holding
later.
you to anything on the books here. What is your opinion or interpretation of the intent of the Constitution? I mean, in a nutshell, what would be your interpretation of that?
I don't know, Councilman, that it's my interpretation so much as the words that are there. Councilman DeLuca, sorry, Rick.
Whatever.
Read the words.
Right.
And the words are what they are.
Sure.
You know, I am not going to sit here tonight and try to twist them into something
Sure.
that they are not. You know, and I'm also not going to repeat everything that I've already said, but the point that I am making is the language is there throughout the state. Municipalities deal with this issue. There are some alternatives that have been offered. Those alternatives may or may not be perfect. We can take a look at them, but this is a difficult issue. That's all.
Great. Okay, so you're going to figure out that, Roxanne, and Leon's going to figure out the financials, how we're going to go forward with, and if we go forward with it. Okay, Councilman Sarah.
I guess two things, just following up, I guess looking at that too, I guess looking at what other municipalities do and how they address the situation, I think that would be useful, which is what we're going to do. And also, to move on to kind of a lighter note, I'd like to congratulate the Brigantine City Beach Patrol and Brandon McKenzie. Brandon was a swimmer for the Beach Patrol, and he won the South Jersey Champions in the swim, and that's probably one of the biggest feats that any lifeguard can do, and he did it in his first year as a rookie. He's an outstanding swimmer and has represented this city well, so I'm very proud of our entire competition team. So I just want to put that out there to the city.
Okay, thanks, Vince. Just want to end with, you know, there was a letter that our city manager sent out to everybody here about the rescue on the Beach Patrol. Since we have my old captain back there, Bill Bennett, and Vince and I were on the beach together, and so I wasn't on the beach with Vince. He was my mascot, but the Beach Patrol does not get the attaboys like they should. I mean, there is rips out there, which is sets we used to call them. Now they're rips, and that people got caught in. This one person got caught in, and the guy was just doing his job. Don't get me wrong, he probably does it every couple of days to rescue this person, but the mother of this child had the time to sit down and write a letter to the city manager and how she appreciates more the Beach Patrol now than she ever did. So I just want to say that, and congratulations to the Beach Patrol, and keep up the good work. And with that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for watching us on TV.